Now our next story is from India, where politics of caste has taken the center stage yet again. The state of Bihar, which holds twice the population of France, has pitched a 65% reservation for the so-called lower castes. This is huge, as existing reservations at the national level and most of the state is capped at 50% for lower castes. And then we have the state of Maharashtra, which is home to India's financial capital, Mumbai, where a dominant caste is demanding reservation for long. Now, recently, the protests took violent turn as well. We will walk you through all of that, but first up, let's understand the issue of caste in Indian politics.
It's often said Indians don't cast their vote, they vote their caste. But what is caste, and why is it so important in Indian politics? Caste is a social identity. The system divides people into rigid hierarchical social groups, often based on their traditional occupation. The hierarchy is decided by assigned historical importance of occupations. For the purpose of enabling affirmative action, the Indian Constitution classifies people into 4 groups: scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, the socially and educationally backward classes, and the general category, who are the so-called upper castes. Historically, the caste identity decided people's fortunes. Even today, a scheduled caste household has higher chances of having little to no generational wealth and little to no access to education and little representation in places that matter, while the general or the traditional upper castes have higher chances of having all of them. Hence comes the concept of reserving seats for the non-general class, right from legislatures to public sector jobs and educational institutions. The politics of caste and reservation emanates from there.
So the politics of caste is playing out through reservations. The idea is to ensure adequate representation. But it is an exercise that has been carried out for over 75 long years. So has it helped its targeted beneficiaries? To find that out, the state of Bihar conducted a caste survey. The first tranche of the data, which was released last month, brought out the exact number of people of each caste. The second tranche, released on Tuesday, threw light on the educational and social status of every caste. For the population of over 130 million, that is. Now the numbers make for dismal reading. The survey found out that out of all poor families in Bihar, 42.93% scheduled castes, 42.7% are the scheduled tribes, 33.58% are the extremely backward classes, 33.16% are other backward classes, and 25.09% are the general category. So clearly the existing reservations for the so-called lower caste has proven ineffective in their uplift, at least in the state of Bihar. Under existing provisions, within the 50% quota, 14% is for the scheduled castes, 10% for scheduled tribes, 1.2% to extremely backward classes, and 8% to other backward classes. Now, the new proposed bill is likely to lay provision raising the share for scheduled castes to 20%, decreasing the share of scheduled tribes to just 2%. Raising the same to 25% for EBCs and to 18% for OBCs, taking the total to 65%. Now, the increase and decrease in the quota for different classes are based on the findings of their actual number in the population in the state. The first tranche of data revealed unreserved 15.5% backward classes, 27.1% are extremely backward classes, 36% are the EBC, 19.7% are the SC, which is the scheduled caste, and 1.7% are the scheduled tribes. Now, moving on to the state of Maharashtra now, that saw widespread protests in recent months after Manoj Jarange Patel went on a hunger strike, demanding reservation for his Maratha community in this state. 33% of Maharashtra's population are Marathas, by the way. Thousands joined the protests that took a violent turn. Things came under control only after the activist ended his hunger strike and after giving a December 24th deadline to the Eknath Shinde-led government to give blanket reservation for all Marathas in the state by giving them OBC certificates. The numbers in Bihar and the protests in Maharashtra show how, while reservations can be a good political issue, they are relatively less effective in ensuring social justice.